All right, so we might as well just begin. Everything's going to be recorded, so if people are hopping on late, then they can still listen to everything later. So, number one, obviously, we are still experimenting with the times for this AMA. It seems like this one is not a good time around this time. I don't know if everybody's just coming back from work or what it looks like that way because it's not too many on here, but thanks for everyone that did manage to make it on here. And like I said, we will keep on experimenting with different days, different times for obviously the most amount of people to join as possible, because being on live is always better than listening to the recording. So few house things I guess we could talk about. The first being, I'm sure everybody that's on this call has checked out the game document. If not, that is going to be in our Discord under the official links. The game trailer is going to be done within the next few days here, so we'll be able to share with you guys the game trailer, and obviously with that we'll start the marketing push up until mint date. So I'm super excited for the trailer to come. It looks really good so far. So yeah, we're excited to bring that to you guys. And then a little update on NFT World. So we're just getting everything migrated onto our server right now. And once that's ready, that should hopefully be able to be ready for you guys this week as well. And we'll have an instruction video, kind of how you guys can go into Drago World and run around and interact with other people, as well as we had some previews early this morning with the paintball arena and everything that will be a part of it. So kind of how it's going to work and how we envision it is that we'll have Drago World, where it's going to be mostly kind of an area where people can hang out and chill, and there's different factions and things that way. And then we're also going to have a separate area that is going to be called Drago Games. So what it'll be like is similar idea, is kind of like a hangout area where people can, if they're not playing the games or they're waiting for the next game, they can kind of hang out there. But there's going to be different games either on that island, or there's going to be a portal to another island where they're called Drago Games, and we'll have a bunch of different games on there. Right now it's going to be paintball. We are probably going to bring some sort of kart racing game as the next one, so that's going to be started right after paintball is done. So those are the two that we're going to start with, but obviously we want feedback from you guys and the community, and to make sure that you guys obviously are happy with what we're building as well, because at the end of the day, you're just part of everything as we are. So that is probably the housekeeping rules for today. We'll have, obviously, I'm sure everybody has a few questions. I noticed some people are still popping on here. But yeah, like this is for everyone that just popped on. The recording will be posted for you to listen back. But that is essentially everything we have for the housekeeping rules. Obviously, like I said, once the game trailer and stuff is back, we'll be using that and the NFT worlds as marketing fuel to carry us through up until mint date. And now that a lot of that stuff is kind of finishing, we'll have a lot more focus, I guess you could say, on making sure that we get the traction that we need to sell everything out. So without further ado, I will open up the floor and see if there are any questions. All you got to do is raise your hand, and then myself or Willie or Selfie can pull you up. Actually, sorry, before the question, there is one more thing I forgot to cover. We're going to announce the official mint date tomorrow. So that will just keep your eyes peeled into the Discord, and we will announce the official mint date, so that everybody that obviously is on the whitelist currently, everybody that is in the community right now, and then everyone that is going to be put on the whitelist with different marketing promotions and everything like that has a date in mind instead of, I know it's frustrating when you guys are helping the community and everybody that's coming to the Discord and you're saying it's to be determined and everything like that. So we'll have something concrete so that you know exactly when the mint date is. So that is one thing I wanted to add to it. So the first speaker that I have is Corpse. So I will bring him up here. One sec. Corpse.
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Not much. Hey, question real quick about the Git book, the document released about the game.
Sure.
Absolutely loved it, by the way. It was awesome. I loved going through it, just kind of reading everything. But the one thing I had a question about was when it comes to the items, especially like the dagger, the sword, the shield, and stuff like that. We can see that they can be leveled up, and I imagine the dagger does less damage than the sword. But what happens if, say, like you've been playing it for a couple of years? Like, can you upgrade items, or do items stay the same level? And if that's the case, like, what happens if you've been playing for like a year and you have like 100 undead like level 2 daggers? Like, what do you do with that essentially product?
For sure, yeah. So we can make this more clear. Obviously, with the game doc, we want to explain everything that we can that is coming in the game. And if some of that isn't clear, like even just like your question here, it shows me that I didn't quite go into detail as much into the items as I could. So I'll update this, the Git book after. But to answer your question, essentially the items, there are 16 different items, and there's 4 for each faction. So like you said, there's sword, dagger, shield, and then gem. And there's going to be levels 1 through 5 on those. So let's say, for example, there is a level 4, like you said, undead dagger, or 3, whatever you said. That will stay as a level 3. You don't necessarily level up the items. You just upgrade them based on item drops in the game. So like, let's say let's say you have a level 3 and a boss drops a level 4. Well, now you'd probably use the level 4. And to answer the second part of your question, where you're saying, oh, like what happens if you have a bunch of these like little level, like different level ones, you can sell that on the marketplace. So we're going to have a user marketplace where you can sell items, any level, and anything that you either don't want to use, or like, let's say, for example, you get an item drop that is lesser than the one you already have, or maybe it's more and you just want to kind of sell it and cash out. You're able to sell it on the user marketplace. So after mint too, we're still going to be going strong with marketing. And at the end of the day too, we want new users to keep on coming into the space. So let's say, for example, you're in the game for X amount of time, there is going to be people that start that are going to need those levels of items. So let's say, for example, they don't have any items, and you have a bunch of these little level 1s. Well, in that case, they would buy it from you, from a store, and then you would do whatever you want, obviously, with that. You can sell it in Drago or Matic. So
and are there only a certain amount in the game, or is it going to be like the coin where it's kind of infinite?
We're still playing around with that. Right now, it's going to be infinite. I don't know if, Willie, you want to speak to that.
Yeah, right now it's currently infinite, but we'll see what fits the best for the game. But I think like there won't be that many like higher tier items, but there will be a lot of lower tier items. That's per every game. You know, like there's going to be obviously a lot more lower tier.
Yeah, like I said, the main reason why I ask is because I'm just thinking long term, and like say a year or two from now, where everyone has like at least like bare minimum a level 2 dagger. Like nobody really, like maybe the couple of people that are coming in and starting, will there ever be a point where like level 1 is obsolete? And since I've been playing for 2 years, I now have like literally 100 level 1 daggers. Like what good is this to me if not many people like actually want, like, you know, there's enough level 2 daggers on the market that people are going to be like, oh, why would I buy a level 1 when there's enough level 2s that I can buy. And so it basically makes number one kind of obsolete. And so that's why I was just curious in long term of what that looks like.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, with that, like you said, right now we can kind of, like the way it's set up, it's going to last for a long time. And the thing is too with a lot of these games too is you can't predict some of that stuff. As a lot of that stuff comes up, then you can kind of make that decision whether you burn something or whatever that looks like. But I know, Willie, you were supposed to speak on that as well, so if you want to have anything.
I don't think it'll be an issue because it's gonna be hard to get the higher items, so you're gonna want to aim for the higher items. Everyone's gonna have a lot of lower items. It's just how it's gonna be, like I don't know, there's not gonna be much you can do about it because a lot of people are going to end up like leaving the cave early. It's just going to happen,
I got you. I just didn't know if there was going to be like a future plan of like, you know what, you have 100 level 1 daggers. I know this is just an assumed number, but like you have 100 level 1 daggers. Guess what? You can burn them all now for a level 2.
Exactly.
It doesn't take you a few steps up, but it gets rid of all the level 1s. And this is all made up numbers, but say like level 1 daggers are selling for 0.05 Ethereum, and level 2 is selling for 0.1. It's like, yeah, but if level 1s aren't moving, I can at least move a level 2. Like I can burn it, make some money. I just didn't know if that was like an idea in the future or if it was like a possibility or what.
It can be done in the future. We just have to look at the numbers and see how many are being, like minted. Like in the first week, we can tell really like how many people are going to be playing, how many people are going up to this level. Like it's going to take us a little bit to test it out, kind of.
Fair enough.
But yeah, to answer your question in a nutshell, yeah, part of our job is to obviously, number one, set it up for success, but number two, which is probably even more important, is watch how it goes. So, at the end of the day, you can only prepare so much, right? And then kind of see how the market reacts, see how everything goes. And at the end of the day, we're a firm believer that there's always a solution. I think that a lot of these games die off because they just give up or the developers are just, it's a lot of work to keep it going and we're gonna peel. So yeah, that is part of our job too, is to kind of see, like Willie was saying, watch the game, watch the users, and if, like you said, if there for some weird reason there's someone that has 100 of these daggers and I'm like, oh man, there's way excess of level 1 daggers, then obviously we're going to have some sort of burn mechanics for that. Otherwise, it's just like people will lose interest, right? So, yeah, there's always going to be us watching the game and being able to balance it accordingly so that, number one, obviously the economy runs, but number two, that people feel like they're getting something out of it for sure.
Awesome. Thank you very much for answering that. My next question is kind of do with marketing.
Sure.
So I know in the past we've tried to market to influencers, and that was definitely a no-go. We kind of was like sitting there back going, yeah, probably shouldn't have done that. And now I know our majority of the market is going to be on Twitter. I imagine y'all have looked into it, but what is the possibility of like finding like mainstream gamers and maybe like essentially like what Bow Wow did of just like, yo, here's this like a little video, but imagine like if Ninja did that and you have now thousands of like middle school people coming in and like, oh, these middle schoolers are now playing this game because Ninja said something. Like, have we thought about like mainstream gamers to be able to kind of help with our marketing?
Yeah, and that's always in the cards. We have to also, kind of like you said, just be careful with all of that stuff. So the mainstream gaming market still isn't 100% on board with a lot of NFT games and things that way. So we have to find, I think there's a happy medium between someone that's an influencer and let's say maybe the crypto or play to earn space, because someone that's Ninja, unfortunately we've seen this kind of too with, as an example, the Neo Tokyo tournament they held. They expected a lot more turnout and a lot more activity, I guess you could say, but I just don't think that full gaming community is necessarily where it should be yet, and I think that just might take some time. So we definitely got to find, like you said, we've definitely learned our lessons with a lot of things in the first phase for sure. We're not going to any of those Instagram influencers and any of those people, no matter who pitches it. But I think it's also finding, like you said, obviously we're definitely going hard on Twitter and collaborations, and then doing like group AMAs. The one on Saturday was just kind of like a test to see how it went. But I think that those group AMAs and group like posting on each other's Twitters, and then obviously, like you said, too, finding those influencers, but making sure they're quality, and that obviously whatever we're spending, we're going to get some sort of ROI in it, and kind of think of it that way.
Awesome. Alrighty then.
Cool, man.
I think that's my last question for now. I'll step down and let some other people ask some questions, and if nobody does, I can have some more.
Perfect. Sounds good, man. Thanks for hopping on.
Yep. Thanks for having me.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Good, are you?
Good. You guys hear me okay?
Yep.
All right. Sorry, I gotta jump on the conference call for my drill job at 4:30 my time, so I have several questions, but I'm gonna go through them all real quick.
Sure.
One is you guys mentioned about the in-game NFT, the Drago heroes you guys gonna have available, and
Yep.
you guys gonna have them sell at the marketplace as the egg. Is that something that, let's say, the Genesis Dragos holder can claim in the future for a birthday, so they can sell? Or is that only the team is going to sell those in-game NFT Drago heroes? And is there a limited number, or is it going to be kind of infinite as well?
So for as it starts, it's going to start just from our shop itself. It's going to be with half Drago and half Matic, and the reason for that is so that we can kind of build up. I mean, number one, it obviously allows people to buy Drago, and that's an accounting there for the coin itself. And then number two, it also provides us with that Matic fund. So like I said, if there is some sort of sell pressure on the coin itself, that we're going to be able to have that reserve fund for coin buybacks. And then for the actual question for as if users are able to sell it, probably not at this point. That could change in the future. Like you said, you guys are able to sell your items, your item drops, and even for the people that did stake originally, they're the only ones that are going to be able to get the potions, and those are going to have an automatic 5% increase from the get-go, and you're able to sell those as well. As far as the supply, we're just going to monitor that and see kind of how it goes. We don't want to run into a situation like Bomb Crypto, where they minted significantly way too many of them, and then all of a sudden now they're fighting coin prices. So I think it's one of the things that right now it doesn't have a limit on it, but we are definitely going to be keeping an eye on it to make sure that there isn't too many getting minted.
All right, and staying in line with the in-game Dragos, you guys mentioned in the document that those could be upgraded to increase the earning rate in order to, you burn one and you upgrade those NFTs, I believe.
Yeah, exactly. So they'll all start as like a quote unquote level 1, and then you'll burn 2 of them together to make a level 2. So obviously that helps burn some of those little in-game NFTs out of circulation. But we also have to make sure, like I said, we keep an eye on it so that there aren't too many to be minted.
Right. And is there a cap on how much you could upgrade? Is that to 5 then, or can you just keep upgrading to a company?
The max upgrade will be to the same earn rate as Dragos, so you won't be able to go beyond that. So if they upgrade, Willie, how many times was it again? I forget how many times. It was like 25 times.
Yeah, 24. 24.
Okay, so you can potentially upgrade to the same earning rate as the normal.
Yeah, exactly. So the Genesis Dragos, they'd love to upgrade a lot to be able to have an earn rate anywhere near Genesis Dragos, and it'll kind of stop there. So they can't just make like some absolutely insane earning at one NFT. They'll kind of have a cap on that.
All right. Okay, next question is, have you guys played through the entire levels, and in your simulations, have you been able to beat those higher levels, like level 8, 9, 10s? on a fairly periodic basis?
Yeah, so I mean, I wouldn't say periodic basis, because at the end of the day, we want to make sure that people aren't making it to the high levels every single day, because that's where all the high level item drops are. We want to ensure that. But I mean, we've played by ourselves a lot of times, and it's to a point where it's fair. Like people aren't like losing left, right, and center, but they're not making it to 10 every single time. And before we launch, and like once we have the smart contract and everything lined up, we'll throw that through testnet and just have tens of thousands of simulations on it, so we can see the exact data, and then from there we can kind of tweak the percentages accordingly, so we know exactly kind of how everything lines up.
All right. Next question is, yeah, you guys mentioned there's going to be a different game for the contaminated or mutated Dragos. Can you elaborate on that a little bit? Is it going to be the same concept or completely different game mechanics?
It's going to be completely different. We're not going to go too much into detail on that, but it will be a completely separate game that you guys get access to with those.
And are you guys talking to any other projects that's going to be on NFT Worlds, like the cryptids, or is that something you guys are kind of venturing around?
Yeah, exactly. Actively looking around. I mean, I think that with our project, we kind of have like a two-pronged approach. Like we have our own built-in-house kind of play-to-earn game, which is going to track the play-to-earn gamers and everything that way. The ones that have maybe not necessarily too much time on their hands to quote unquote hang out in metaverses or NFT worlds or whatever you want to call it. The second part of it obviously is NFT worlds, where we're building kind of more of that interactive experience where someone can play paintball or kart racing or whatever if they had a couple hours to kill in their day or whatever they want to do. So I think that we are looking for other projects in that NFT world space, because it is important that we integrate different worlds. I think that if we have our world and they have another world, that we can kind of let our holders backpack onto something they built, like you said, like cryptic clans. I think that's going to be super important for expanding kind of the ecosystem on that side.
That's pretty good. That's in terms of questions, just a few quick comments, I guess. One is, I'd like to maybe suggest or maybe have a design contest for the cucumber statue and have the community vote on it.
Yeah, we could definitely do that.
Whoever's comfortable enough for it. I'm sure there's a few designers in the Discord. And again, just kind of appreciate you guys, what you do and what you're trying to do for the community, and looking forward to everything. Same thing with the mods on the Discord. They do a great job. So
yeah, thanks for being here, man. And I know you help all the new people and everyone that's in the Discord too. So yeah, really appreciate your help, and obviously all the mods and everyone for that is helping everyone while we're working and can't make it. So yeah, we're super blessed and grateful for everybody that's in the community helping.
I appreciate the expert role. And one last thing I'll go out with is really liking the Ice Beats Undead aspect of the game. So.
Awesome, man. Well, yeah, thanks for all the questions and the comments. You're super appreciated in the community. And yeah, if you have any other questions, obviously, feel free to come back up.
I'll try to jump back on if my meeting gets done early, so hopefully you guys are still on.
Perfect. Sounds good. Thank you. All right, so I don't have anybody else here with their hand up, so I will give kind of one warning, I guess you could say, for someone to raise their hand. If not, we can cut it early. And like I said, if this is not a time where it works for everybody, and maybe it's kind of in that evening time where people are eating dinner, spending time with their family, traveling home from work, this maybe not have been the best time. I was just kind of going based off of what people were voting, but maybe when they were saying night, maybe they meant a little bit later. So we're going to keep on playing around with times, playing around with days, so that obviously the most amount of people can join. But yeah, this obviously is recorded for anybody that didn't make it today. sec, I got Corpse here. Corpse, you're up.
Yeah. So one other thing I wanted to ask, when it comes down to the game itself, I know that we can play it in like MetaMask's browser, but has there been any talk or development of just like what it would look like to create a wallet where essentially, or an app where essentially you connect your wallet to, it shows you have a Drago and you can maybe play a Drago app or something like that?
It could be something that we do in the future. Right now, the Apple Store and Play Store are very, very picky with crypto games. That's why OpenSea's app and apps like that are very vanilla, I guess you could say, compared to the web-based experience. So it's definitely on the table as far as providing like much more of a mobile experience, but until, unfortunately, these kind of corporations with the app stores and stuff, obviously we could make an app outside of the app store, but that isn't on the table right now. We want to make sure, obviously, that we're continuing NFT worlds, and then bringing that kind of second game that is going to be developed in-house with the infected mutant Dragos. But yeah, definitely in the table. I think that if we were going to have a mobile app, it's probably going to be not one you just download from a link. It'd probably be something more official from like an app store. But I think until they loosen up those regulations, I think that we'll probably just table that for now until, like you said, you can use it on your MetaMask browser. But it's definitely going to be better through that or through a web-based experience.
Awesome, thank you. And then one other thing, who was the mastermind and the genius that made it to where ice beats undead? Why is that ever such a thing that ice would ever be able to beat undead?
I don't know what to tell you. That's just the way that we decided to do it, and that made the most amount of sense for everything. So that's how we carried through to it.
Is it too late to go back to the drawing board? And I mean, I'd rather lose to Shadow. Like, I got to lose to Ice. Like, what is up here?
Yeah, I mean, everything's coordinated and game dev'd out, so not at this point, my friend. Sorry.
All right, fine. I guess I'll live with it.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Any other questions, or are you good?
Oh, I'm good. I just was curious about the app.
Sure. All right. Well, like I said, if there is any further questions, we're going to be, now that we've kind of passed on a lot of this stuff and we're getting ready for the marketing stuff, we will obviously want to do a lot more of these AMAs, and we can pick a time and a day that maybe works a little bit better for more people, so we can have more people on. I know in the past with the midday ones and kind of late morning ones seem to have a lot more of a show up than this time. So I don't know if this time was necessarily the best, but thanks for everybody that hopped on. Like I said, I'll give everybody one last little chance if they have any other questions. Obviously, if you have, let's see, let me check Discord actually, just to make sure there's none in Discord. Let's see here. Okay, I don't see any in Discord, so sorry if I missed any of the questions. If you did post in Discord, you didn't want to come up and speak, obviously you can tag us in the group if you do. One last chance. If nobody has any other questions, we'll end this one off a little early. Again, thank you so much for everybody for joining today. If it wasn't the most convenient time, like I said, tomorrow we'll release the official mint date, and obviously we're going to be able to carry through now with a lot of the marketing. Like I said, the game trailer will be ready in the next couple of days here, so we'll be able to go obviously release that to you guys first, and then go hard with marketing, whether that be Twitter promoters or joint AMAs and things that way. Obviously we want to get in with the crypto community, the NFT community, but also the play to earn community, and kind of carry things forward that way. I see, Selfie, that you have requested to speak, so let me pull you up here quick. You think you should be good. All right. Well, I don't hear anything coming from you. I don't know if that's on my end or not. But yeah, like I said, thank you so much, everybody, for attending today. We'll have this recorded and we'll be posting it up in the Discord. Obviously, like I said, we'll host a lot more of these, whether it be which is our community or joined with other communities. And again, we'll speak tomorrow when we have the mint date. And the game trailer, hopefully, is going to be, like I said, in the next couple of days here for everybody. So we're excited to get that to you. But other than that, like I said, thanks again. And we'll see everybody in the Discord. Thank you.